Welcome to Unscripted with Russo. For our podcast, we decided to explore the people behind the narratives. I'll introduce decision makers and influencers and find out the intimate story behind their rise to success. Welcome to another episode of Unscripted with Russo. I'm your host, Ashley Russo, and I am here with a good friend and an amazing business person, Chris Morganelli. He is the co-owner and CEO of MCIT. Chris, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
All right. Well, you're a Lehigh Valley native. Your name is sort of pretty well known in the Lehigh Valley if you're from this region. So tell me a little bit about where you grew up and about your family.
Yeah, so definitely from the Lehigh Valley, born and raised in Bethlehem. My brother and sister as well. You know, I was the only one that kind of stayed in the Lehigh Valley throughout my education as well. So when I say I'm born and raised here, I've never left. I truly love Lehigh Valley.
Start to current, you're Lehigh Valley. And so you have an older brother and a younger sister, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yep, older brother, younger sister.
So give me that dynamic. Tell me what little 5, 6, 7-year-old Chris was like. You got older brother John, little sister Laura. Where do you fit into the mix?
Yeah, so I'm the middle one, and I was and still am super close with my sister. When we were little, we were inseparable. We had a blast running around our yard and in the basement and getting into mischief and whatnot. And as I got older, my brother and I became closer as well with the sports. I think the sports brought us together. But the three of us were like the Three Musketeers. We really do enjoy hanging out with each other, teasing each other. And luckily today we're all local here to the Lehigh Valley as well. So we still remain really close and we see each other very frequently.
It's nice to have that opportunity to still be close and get to see each other. I have siblings all over the country, and it's a treat when we're in the same area.
Yeah,
so I can appreciate that. You talked about sports. So what did you get into? Were you a real sports kid? What about school? Where did you excel? Where did you struggle? Tell us a little bit about the full picture of what you were like through your education.
Yeah, I was always involved with sports as a little toddler, running around, football, basketball, baseball. And even through high school, I played football, ran track and basketball as well. College, I did not do any sports, just focused on studying, right? Like I was supposed to do. You know, sports was always a part of my life. I think it gave me some structure too. I think sports, are really good for kids while they're growing up and give some structure and dedication and commitment to things that they want to pursue. And, school, I did enjoy school. I had my strengths and my weaknesses for sure. But I pursued computer science towards the end of my education at DeSales. But great education, although I was a Catholic schoolboy all my life. And so it was a great childhood growing up, stayed active and made sure I got my homework done.
I bet. And I have a feeling that your mother made sure that happened as well. I want to talk about your parents for a second. They're amazing people. And you grew up with a dad who was in the spotlight quite a bit as an attorney and then as the DA. Can you talk a little bit about that and what did that mean to you or how did you interpret that as a kid?
We did grow up with a father that was in the spotlight quite often. And I think it allowed us to learn how we wanted to be perceived, right? Perception is everything. How your reputation is everything. And so growing up, we made sure that we stayed in line. We made sure that we represented the Morganelli name in a way that made our parents proud. And in turn, as being adults now, we're proud of what we've accomplished in terms of keeping the name clean. You're right. It's something that's proud to be a part of. And with my dad being district attorney for how long and now a judge, it's your name gets known, your family becomes known, and when you're out in the community, you want to make sure you're representing your family in a way that makes everybody proud of you.
And that is so amazing and admirable, but it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes kids go the opposite direction because they just can't take the pressure or they don't want that. What role did your mom play in that? I have to say, she's one of my favorite people. I've been so lucky to get to know her over the last few years. She's warm and smart and caring and conversational. She's just a really great lady. So what role did she play in instilling those values in you as a kid?
I love my mom to death. I think that. We're friends, and you see how I treat my mom and how I interact with her. So she has been and continues to be the most amazing mother ever. Super supportive from when we were kids with their sports, from our homework, making sure we were staying in line and not getting in too much trouble. But she allowed us to learn our lessons. Right. I think it's important to make your own mistakes as you grow up and learn from them. But she was a huge supporter. I mean, words can't even describe the amount of support my mom has given us, the three of us. And even today, with the businesses we have, and the love she gives to us is just, yeah, it's amazing. She's definitely an example for a lot of people.
She is. Well, shout out to Diana. Hope she listens in. All right. So you stayed local. You ended up going to DeSales University, right down in Center Valley. What was that decision? What factored into that decision of staying right here, and also the decision to study computer science? Because you did that at a pretty cutting edge time to go into that field.
I would definitely wanted to stay local. I knew that. And DeSales, among other colleges here locally, were on my list. And as you have gone through the process, we visit the schools, do the tours, meet with some of the faculty, and DeSales really made a connection with me. I think the faculty that I met there on those visitations resonated really well. The program that they were building out in computer science, I was impressed with and intrigued, because I knew that technology was going to be the future of my career, and kind of where the world was going, right, with the landscape of how things are evolving. And so DeSales was my choice. I went there. I lived on campus as well, and my major was computer science, and it was a great experience. If I had to do it all over again, I would choose DeSales. I've created some great friendships there. And I even stay in touch with some of my professors while with my time being there.
Well, we're big fans of DeSales at ASR Media. As you know, we've got several current employees and several past employees who were all DeSales graduates, and it's an amazing school as well as film and TV program. So one of your fellow alums will be actually editing this podcast. So shout
Very
out
nice.
to Dakota. That's great. I want to take a quick break, but when we come back, I would like to talk a little bit about your early career and where you've evolved to now. So stick with us. You're listening to Unscripted with Russo. As a mother of two, I know it can be tough to find activities that everyone will enjoy. Luckily, the Lehigh Valley has so many ways to treat your family without breaking the bank. You can experience cool discoveries at the Da Vinci Science Center or all aboard the WK&S railroad train for an afternoon adventure. There's fun around every corner of the Lehigh Valley, and you can uncover it all on Discover Lehigh Valley's website. Visit discoverlehighvalley.com for more information. Welcome back, everybody. I'm being joined today by Chris Morganelli, and Chris is a local guy who has really made good, doing some amazing things. He was born and raised here in Bethlehem, went on to DeSales University, studied computer science. I'd like to know, Chris, what did you learn in that time, and did you have an idea of what you wanted to do in high school that maybe changed or evolved as you actually studied in the field in college?
So my original path wasn't always going to be computer science. I knew I wanted to do something creative and in a sense of building something. I was creative when I was a kid. I was always drawing and doodling with Connects and Legos and things of that nature. I was always building as well. And during my education, you're always looking for what's going to have a good return and good career for you as you progress. And with technology and the way the world is going, technology is everywhere you look. On the day-to-day, it's nonstop. And so I really wanted to identify an opportunity where I could utilize my creativeness, the way my mind thought about building and creating things, and apply it to the computer science industry. And the computer networking and IT industry fit really well into that. And I got lucky that DeSales was building a program around those type of skill sets and knowledge base in industry, and that's what I pursued.
What were you doing during college? Were there any part-time jobs or internships or things that you experienced that you felt were helpful or showed you, I don't really want to do that? Tell me a little bit about the experiences you had that complemented your education.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm proud of this. I had about 7 internships altogether while I was at DeSales.
Wow.
And they were a slew of different roles and tasks, from small businesses to large corporations. And I learned a lot, from the nuances of, marketing to the IT department on how to maintain and secure infrastructure. It was just a really well-rounded experience having those internships under my belt. The one thing I did take away that I think has put me in this position today is that I always wanted to work for myself. I wanted to pursue something that I built, that I could, that it was bigger than just me, where I could employ individuals and teams, where they felt that they were really a part of something fantastic. And so those internships really shed light on my goals down the road. They really helped me identify what I wanted to do.
Well, you're leading me exactly where I wanted to go, which was to talk about the concept of when you talk about creativity, building something and how important that was to you. At what point did you recognize that you could use those skills to build a business, to be creative in a business, and to actually be an entrepreneur? Because you really are an entrepreneur. I mean, you've had a lot of different businesses, and I want to talk about those. But at your core, regardless of what you're doing, you do love creating and building. When did you realize that that is also the opportunity to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think honestly, from an early age, to be honest, going way back, I was always one to try and make a few bucks when it snowed, right? Shoveling driveways, building my own lemonade stand and whatnot. I think it just resonated with me of who I am. I always enjoyed, the hard work and the reward at the end of it. And so, as I grew up and progressed in my education, I think the skill sets that I learned and the knowledge I absorbed allowed me to kind of cultivate a plan, if you will, and identify a couple businesses that I could apply my skill sets to. And it just happens to be in technology and also now real estate too. So, but entrepreneurship
I want to ask you about your first job. So you get out of college. What do you do?
My first job out of college that is a great question. So I actually did not. So I had job offers and I turned them all down. And my parents were like, "What are you doing?" And I proceeded to tell them that I would like to pursue my own business. And they were
I
very
have to
supportive.
stop and think for a second. When you say that you've gotten this great education, you're in a field that's growing and has a lot of opportunity, you have job offers. I know as a parent, it's so hard to take that leap and trust, especially a 21, 22, 23-year-old, to know, how did you know that you really wanted to do it, and what drove you to feel you could be successful?
Yeah, it was quite a decision. They were shocked. Luckily, they were very supportive. And what made me make that decision is just the belief in myself of, I know I could do it. I think that the skill sets, the knowledge base that I was provided over the years, I knew if I put my mind to it and surrounded myself with smart people that together we could build a business for sure.
That's such a key, isn't it? Surrounding yourself with smart people. There's a sense that ignorance is bliss for all of us that start businesses.
Yeah.
We're celebrating our 10 years and we're looking back and looking back, essentially, Katie and I and early people who were involved, Tina, we just look at each other and think, we didn't know. We did not know. You just learned.
Yeah.
So think about those early days. Tell me about your first business. What was the business model? What were you doing? And what were those early lessons that you learned, both positively and negatively, that have helped you develop today?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first business was CMD, and we were doing web development. And it was a great business. I ended up having about 3 or 4 people work for me, and it wasn't the end goal though. So we were doing web development, great work, great clients. We learned a lot about the building a business process. The pitfalls, the roadblocks that you hit, because it's never a straight line. I think we all know that. And so the end goal ultimately I knew was to start a managed services company. And so CMD allowed me to kind of create and cultivate relationships within the community, build that trust that, the work that we're going to provide, whatever that may be, we're going to stand by it and do the best we can for the client and on behalf of the client. And that the team members that, we're going to bring on board we think will be the best of the best, right? We want to make sure we're hiring the best people. And so that first business really allowed me to, learn from mistakes and look to the future for the ultimate end goal of MCIT and how to avoid any mistakes that we had previously made.
Yeah, but I think it's important that you go through that, right? Did you wear all the hats when you were doing like CMD, Chris Morganelli design? Were you wearing all the hats? And are there some that you're really good at and some you're not good at? And I say that because I struggled through doing all of my bookkeeping and invoicing. And while I'm capable of doing it, I just don't like it. At the end of the day, I do not like it. So it was as soon as I could afford it, it was the first thing I farmed out. What was your experience with that?
I hear you loud and clear. So that I was doing everything 100%, absolutely. And my strengths even today, are I love engaging people in what we do. It's something that gets me excited. We have products and services that I love talking to people about. And so, my role that I've always wanted to have and continue to do is engaging with individuals, creating relationships, shedding light on the value that we're bringing. And so, the early on with CMD, yeah, having the hats of doing the the accounting and the bookkeeping and all that jazz. You had to do it, but those were definitely not my strong suits.
No.
And I
Aren't you
think
glad though that you have the basis and you can say, I do know how to do that. I have done that.
yeah.
When you keyed in on the concept of people and really connecting and bringing services to people that they could really need and use, how did that then apply? Because all of a sudden, from my vantage point of knowing you through this time, you sort of had a lot of irons in the fire. So you went from having, Chris Morganelli design, and all of a sudden you're with Network Magazine. You started the technology company. You started the real estate business. So give me the progression of how those things unfolded and why you added different pieces to the portfolio.
Yeah, that is a great question. And I get that asked, have been asked that frequently. And so it all started out with C. Morganelli Designs doing the web development. And that was my first step, I'll say, in the direction of technology and development. It gave me a good basis of how to start a business, what the nuances are, what I needed to learn from mistakes that were made. But I knew the end goal was that managed services company. So from C. Morganelli Designs, MCIT was born when I met my business partner, and we started laying out the long plan for that managed services company and technology company. And so the transition from CMD kind of fell to the wayside as we built up the MCIT business. And very soon after MCIT started, I wanted to build my network. And I think, you know me well, and I know you as well, that, we're huge networkers. We love to connect with people and get out in the community. And so I was looking for another vehicle, in addition to all the ones that exist in Lehigh Valley, that I could bring prospective clients, current clients, and fellow business colleagues together and just into one room consistently. And so with a few other business partners, we came up with Network Magazine, which, as you know, is a quarterly based publication. And it was a great opportunity to network with business professionals. Each issue comes out, we have a VIP invite-only release party, and it rotates around the Lehigh Valley. And I used it as a great vehicle to begin the growth of MCIT. And then some years have passed, and we get to the real estate, and that actually came from a personal need, to be honest. Not really that wasn't planned. So what happened was I was buying and selling property, personal property, as was my brother. And if you've ever sold property, you need a realtor, and you got some hefty fees. And so I figured, let's lower the fees, and I'll do this myself. And so going through about 3 or 4 realtors, myself and my brother about 5, I said, we should start our own little team and hang our license with another brokerage and 1 or 2 people. Long story short, being an entrepreneur, I didn't like what I saw from the tech, from the marketing. And so I told my brother, John, hey, we should start our own real estate brokerage. He thought I was nuts. But long story short, we have an amazing team in place. Our broker of record, Heather, is a rock star. And we had 2 investors for early on financial stability. And today we have about 47 agents working for the brokerage. And it's just doing fantastic. We just opened up our new location in Bethlehem. We purchased and renovated the Nuts About Ice Cream building, formerly Costas Drug Store, across the street from Liberty High School. And it's turned out gorgeous, and we're getting great feedback from the community. And also we have MCIT also opened up an office about a half mile down the road on Center Street. So,
well, that's convenient for you. Can bounce back and forth. I want to talk a little bit about what these businesses do. So let's start with MCIT, because I think that this is something that is very confusing to people. They don't really know what it is or why they need it. So can you just explain on a very kind of broad level what you do and the type of clients that you help and manage?
Absolutely. So MCIT is a cybersecurity and managed IT services company. And what that means is we work with small to medium-sized businesses to secure their data, their computer networks, their devices, and train and make aware their users of what to be on the lookout for in the world of cybersecurity. In addition to that, we have our help desk with our team of technicians that are there available 24/7 for user error, hardware failure, software issues, things of that nature. And so essentially, MCIT is an outsourced IT department for a lot of organizations. We support about 50 companies in 10 states, and it accounts for about 2,500 employees across those companies.
Incredible. So you really can become an extension of the team where they may not have a team in place or the budget or the size to be able to support that. How are you finding all of the new kind of government regulations that are coming along that really are meant to help businesses to be protected from cyber threats, which seem to be growing every single day? Has that been helping your business because there are some requirements people have to follow?
Yeah. So, even going back further, COVID tripled our business in terms of the technology that organizations needed. And then during that time, cyber crimes exploded because cyber criminals were taking advantage of people working from home and whatnot. And so fast forwarding to today, the regulations that have come down from the Federal Trade Commission, for example, the FTC, has really affected a lot of businesses and has gotten IT companies like ourselves, MCIT, involved heavily with securing data, how you handle that data, how you back it up, and things of that nature. And taking a step further, insurance companies are really dropping the hammer on their threshold for what they will insure for businesses. So there's a survey, a questionnaire used to be about 3 pages long from your insurance company for your cyber policy, right? Today it's about 13 pages, easy. And there's a slew of software and policies and procedures that every business should have in place to get properly insured with cybersecurity insurance. So
It's
the
absolutely, you
regulations
are, talk about being in the right place at the right time with the right businesses, Chris. There is no doubt you are in the right place with the right business, but it's been a vision for a long time. And like you told us, it's been a journey. So it's exciting. I want to ask you one more question, then we're going to take another break and come back and talk about the Lehigh Valley, your home that you love so much. What made you make that call to your brother John and say, let's do this? Because really, to most people, that sounds almost a little nuts, sort of like when you said to your parents, no, I'm just going to start my own business. What do you think it is within yourself? And I know we look and say, well, it's just who I am. What are those characteristics that you identify in yourself that makes you take that level of risk and sort of that leap of faith?
I think comes down to drive and accountability. And I keep those two traits close to my heart and my team, actually, in both organizations. That accountability and drive need to be present. I make sure my teams hold myself accountable for what I need to do to ensure that our companies are continuing to grow and scale. But I also put that on my team and also our clients, the accountability too. I think it goes both ways. And everyone that we work with, clients, my team members, I want everyone to be driven to succeed. We have we compensate our team members really well. We reward our team members really well. And so someone that's driven to succeed, I think, and they hold themselves accountable, I think any business could explode with those type of traits.
Couldn't agree more. That's a perfect ending to this segment. We're going to be back with Chris Morganelli right after this. Stay tuned. Home to the Iron Pigs in Dorney Park, Allentown is a city without limits. Food, art, dance, you name it, it's got it. Allentown's historic roots are matched with its vibrant culture to create an adventure that you'll never forget. Thinking of taking a trip? Follow Lehigh Valley, PA on Instagram, and you'll find attractions, hotels, and sites you won't want to miss. Welcome back to Unscripted. I'm Ashley Russo. Been having an amazing conversation with Chris Morganelli. I have serial entrepreneur on my LinkedIn page, but I think you might need to put that on your LinkedIn page because you have a lot of businesses, a lot going on, and you've worn all the hats. You've been in business for yourself since you graduated college, and you've stayed right here in the Lehigh Valley. So let's talk about this region a little bit. I'm a transplant here almost 20 years now and call it home and raised my kids. Certainly love it. What do you love about it? And having traveled other places, why did you choose to stay here and build a business, which means you're really building and supporting a lot of other people staying here as well?
Yeah, great question. So as you know, and I mentioned, born and raised in the Valley, my family also, our extended family has remained here. And so, family is always first for me. And so, that was the decision, was I wanted to be close to my family, my parents, my brother and sister, and also my friends too. I have some really great relationships, and I think friendships are super important, for you to have, through your lifetimes. And so, when I was identifying whether it was a good idea to start a business, I then looked at the region where, we grew up, Bethlehem, and Allentown, and Easton, and Lehigh Valley. And as you know, the Lehigh Valley is really becoming a hub for economic growth. And, with the facts that are just coming in, from the LVEDC that operates here in the Lehigh Valley, the growth is just incredible. And so I felt this area, being between New York and Philadelphia, and here on the East Coast, it was just an easy, no-brainer opportunity to start a business and be successful. Again, building it with the right people and having the right services and products. And so I stayed committed around my family and to the Lehigh Valley.
Well, you got married to your wife, Abby, I believe in 2021. Is that right?
Yep.
And you welcomed your baby boy, your son Carter, last year. He's now 8 months old. So tell me a little bit about what you guys love to do in the Valley, and has that changed a little bit now that you have a family?
Yeah. So a lot's changed in the past couple of years. So yeah, Abby and I, we absolutely love being out and about. We traveled. I think we had about 8 vacations the summer before we got married, or actually prior to COVID hitting, so 2019. And we love traveling, different locations throughout the U.S., also abroad, and so great times traveling for sure. Locally in the Valley, you will always find us out and about on the weekends at a restaurant or a winery, enjoying ourselves. We definitely think the Lehigh Valley has a great social setting here. But yes, as you mentioned, since Carter has been born, things have changed a little bit. We're starting to get back into our routine. But I think having him is much more rewarding, and spending time with him and seeing him grow has just been so exciting. And fatherhood has been everything I've ever wanted and more. And I know my family and friends who know me know how much it means to me to have this little guy. And Abby and I are just love him with all our hearts. We're having a
Yeah,
blast.
it's so apparent, Chris. You are a family guy through and through, as you've said, both your immediate family and now your family that you're growing yourself with your son and your wife. So I love that. And what's going to be cool for you is you'll get to experience the Valley in a whole new way as a parent, because you're going to get to do all the things with your son and your kids that maybe you did as a kid, and now you'll
Mhm.
get to experience it a new way. So I'm excited for you for that. Is there anything
Thank
in
you. Yep.
particular you're looking forward to? Is it like Crayola or Dorney or hiking and, Da Vinci Science, or what is it?
Yeah, I mean, really all the above. I think we'll definitely do the Crayola experience for sure. Hoping he has that creative side and that builder mentality, right? And also, sports. I think I whatever he gets into, I'm excited to watch him play and compete and have a good time. I'm looking forward to, like you said, hiking. We used to do that with my grandmother, my mom, and sister and brother back in the day too. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to all the experiences that I had growing up and sharing those experiences with him. And it's sometimes it just leaves me speechless just thinking about what's to come with him. And we're just really excited about it all.
That's awesome. And it motivates you every day. What is next for Chris Morganelli? What's next for your businesses, for your life? And what can we expect to hear from you in the future?
Yeah, so we have some business wise. We have some big plans. MCIT, we're growing and scaling nonstop. We had an acquisition back in 2021, and merger that we went through, brought so much value to our clients and to the business. We have another one in the springtime that we've been eyeing up and that we're going to be pursuing. And so MCIT, the growth has been fantastic. We're really excited about this year, and I think you're going to find that we're going to be becoming a stronger market leader as time progresses, definitely. And I'm excited and appreciate the team of technicians that I have. They work very hard. They're very bright, and without them, we wouldn't be where we are. Morganelli Properties, we're always rocking and rolling there. We have some great agents joining that brokerage over the next couple of weeks and months. We have a couple projects in the works there that are not yet public, but are going to help with growing that business as well. So we're super excited about it. And also the building just being so new and all the work that went into it. We will be hosting our grand opening and 5-year celebration sometime in April. So we're excited about that. And
Chris,
then,
I can't believe we're talking about a 5-year. I feel like it was a few months ago that you and I had a conversation about you launching this business, and
yeah,
it's just amazing. Congratulations on all your success, and
thank
can't
you.
wait to see what you do next. Before I let you go, we do want to ask you our rapid fire questions. Can I confirm for our audience you have not heard these?
I have not heard these.
Okay,
That is
are you
fact.
ready?
I think so.
What is your favorite hobby or a secret talent that you have?
So a talent, I'll go to the talent first. I think my talent is my ability to make, I think, my family and friends laugh very easily. I have a great sense of humor, and my impressions. I do some pretty good impressions for some celebrities and whatnot that my parents and
Really?
friends
See, now I
love.
didn't know that. That's good to know. All right, good.
Yeah,
Well, all right,
yeah.
here's a more serious one. What's the best advice you've ever received?
That's easy. The way my parents raised us is treat everybody the same, whether it's the CEO or the janitor. No matter what, everyone has some story to tell. Someone has the opportunity to go where they want to go and be who they want to be, and treating that kindness to everyone is super important, because it will definitely come back. And I actually put that in my email signatures: is be valuable and be kind. And I think it's super important.
Love it. That's a great piece of advice. All right. What actor would you cast to play you in a movie about your life?
I'd have to say I look exactly like Brad Pitt. So I had to. No.
Perfect. Exactly.
Honestly, that's a great question. Boy, I don't know. Some actors that I absolutely love is I love Christopher Walken, although he's just a quirky guy. I think he's hilarious.
It would have to be much later in your life for him to play it.
And Will Ferrell. Those are some of my favorite actors. But to play me, I don't know. That's a great question.
All right, we'll have to ponder that one.
Yeah.
Okay, if you didn't have the job you have now, and it can't be something that you've already done, what would you be doing instead? What would be a total dream different job?
I would absolutely love to travel the world and try food.
And just blog about it.
Yeah, I would. The gentleman that had unfortunately passed away years ago, the Anthony Bourdain, the shows he had and the places he traveled and the food he tried was amazing. I'm a huge foodie. I grew up eating food. My mom's an amazing cook. My wife's an amazing cook. And so, just traveling around the world, I would love to have that job.
Awesome. Anthony Bourdain is one of our favorites as well. Sad loss, but great journalist. Okay, name one person who inspires you.
It's kind of cliche. I'm going to say, and I heard this one time and I thought I was kind of quirky, but I'm kind of inspired, I guess, my future self, if that makes sense. I'm always trying to assess who I am today and who I want to be tomorrow and next week, next month, next year. And so I feel like I'm always chasing a better version.
I love that.
Makes sense.
I absolutely love it. It makes perfect sense. And you're the first person to answer that. So I love that. Chase your future self. Chase the person you want to become. I love that, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us on Unscripted. We've learned so much and we wish you the best.
I appreciate it. And congratulations on your 10th year. That's amazing.
Thank you. Very exciting. We appreciate it, Chris. Until next time, everyone, this is Unscripted.
If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.
To see more of The Peak TV, check out our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch us on WFMZ Channel 69.